Sutra.
Okay.
Śiva Sūtras, chapter 3, Āṇava. Last time we had a glimpse of it. There are 45 sutras, and therefore a summary will not be possible, because last time what we did was a lesser number of sutras, and therefore you are requested to pay more attention and clarity. The points during the question answer session or the Paramadvait WhatsApp, whatever you would like to ask, you can ask, because these 45 sutras are divided in such a way that first 5-6 sutras are really Āṇava, and thereafter the sutras are such that how a yogi falls down because of Āṇava differences. So Āṇava, where he fails and comes down in the sadhana. So first of all, we will see how to do the sadhana, how to remove the Āṇava mala. Āṇava mala is the thing which we have already discussed. So Āṇava, what is Anu or an atom? See, we are always talking of vastness, and the Shiva is a very, and what we say, the Brahma is the vast thing. But when we are saying as a human being, how it becomes an atom. This means that when our mind is used only in a limited sphere, resulting into localized way of expression, only up to our own limited momentary pleasures, called as rajasic, and looking limited to our own benefits, called as tamasic activities. The mind working on or our own notion reduces it to the level of shrunken atom. So we are reducing our mind, not our body, but the mind gets reduced. The Upāya is remedy to expand our activities of our brain functioning in unlimited way due to its correction. This chapter deals with the functioning of the mind, how the mind works and what are the bottlenecks, how to enhance its power, how it malfunctions, leading to a fall even after achieving the powers, and why we lose the powers of mind if it works in a limited way. Firstly, we let us know what is a mind. So I am starting a PPT. So let us start. The PPT says, Śiva Sutra part 3, and this is Āṇava. So here we are saying, this till I'll read it out. First, let me expand it to a larger way of looking. Here, the individual being has been transformed into the nature, Swarupa of mind. But what is mind? What kind of mind is this? This Swami Lakshman Zu says, it is not a mind filled with mantra, the God consciousness of a supreme I. It is that mind which is eternally saturated with the impression of sensual pleasures. The individual is attached to the three intellectual organs: mind, intellect, and ego. The function of these three organs is as follows. First, understanding what is to be done is accomplished by an organ of intellect. Second is the thought of how to do it is accomplished by the organ of mind. And the third is the ego is attached when we say this is to be done by me. The moment we say me, our entity begins with the ego. So the next slide is, these three movements are the functions of the mind, that individual being. It is the mind of the individual being which is Atma. Here the Sanskrit word Atma does not mean individual being. The word Atma comes from the verbal root Ata. We call Atate iti Atma. In grammar, the meaning of Atma is Satatya Gamane, who comes and goes, who is always in movement, moving in a repeated birth and death, being born and dying again and again. So he who is entangled in the wheel of repeated births and deaths is Atma. And that is a mind is Atma. And that mind is Atma. So because of limitations of mind, the person rotates in a wheel of repeated birth and death. So the next slide says, when does he move in a repeated birth and death? This happens when he neglects the knowledge of his own real nature. This individual being moves in a various form by possessing at different times either a sattvic pure state of thought, a rajasic active state of thought, or tamasic dull state of thought. And when at the time of death he is situated in the sattvic state, he moves to a higher life. When at the time of death he is situated in a rajasic disposition, he enters into those lives filled with luxuries. And when he is situated in a tamasic mood, he enters into beasts, trees, or any other state of dead consciousness. This is the nature of Atma, which is a substance of the individual being. So the next slide says, on the other hand, the mind that has become one with the God consciousness does not remain in this way. He moves in his own real nature. This is why the first sutra of the first awakening is Chaitanyam Atma. Independent God consciousness is really the self. So in this sutra, the word Atma in Chaitanyam Atma was explained in such a way that you will understand that the Atma is no other than God consciousness. Means we become the God only. But here, in the present sutra, Atma is defined as a truly inferior being. This is the state of individuality. It exists when the Supreme Being possesses the state of individuality. Possessing this state and being shrunk from all sides, he becomes an individual being. Now, what Jaydev Singh says, Chit or universal consciousness during the course of manifestation becomes reduced to Chitta, which consists of Buddhi, Mana, and Ahamkara. The Chitta becomes conditioned by its desire for the pleasure of the objects of sense. The constituent of buddhi is primary sattva, that is manas is rajas, and of ahamkara is tamas. It is this chitta which is anu. The chitta or anu is called atma in this context using buddhi, mana and ahamkara. It moves about atati iti atma from one form of existence to another. Chitta is the anu or atma, the individual self in this context. So I have designed a little clarity on this. I have tabulated this. Soul is the Paramatma, that is the Chetana, we called it. This we are having in the first part of Śiva Sūtras, Chaitanyam Atma. We had a Shambhava Upāya, we have already done. Second is mind, Antaratma, that is called as Chit. That is called, we had that our second chapter, Chittam Mantra was the first sutra. That is Shaktopāya. And now we are doing a body Atma, that is Chitta. That is, we are calling Atma Chittam. So Chittam here is the mind. Āṇava Upāya. So we are doing this Āṇava Upāya. So this arbitrarily I have given this, my way of thinking is soul is the Paramatma, which is already and always sattvic and pure. In mind, the Antaratma, sattvic pure plus rajasic, that we like pleasures. We always like pleasure. So we always try to tend to go for so much desires for pleasures and everything, attachments and everything. So next is the body, that is Atma. It is also having sattvic pure, rajasic pleasures and tamasic impurities. So sometimes we misbehave, we manipulate, we do the things which is not correct. So all the three things are there. So here the rajasic pleasures make karma, tamasic impure karmas also make karma. And because of all this, we become a small-minded. This anuta is there. Anuta means a smallness of mind. So now I have depicted in another chart my way of thinking, because I'm always happy about presentation and charts. So the next is play of Prakriti and Anu. Soul is a sattvic. So what are the ingredients of a soul? 5 things. Shiva, 5 tattvas are there. Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. These 5 things are there. So this is all sattvic. Here I have given a heading that Man Buddhi Ahamkar. So Man is connected to Ichha Shakti and Buddhi is connected to Jnana Shakti and Ahamkar is Kriya Shakti. So the mind is always rajasic. According to me, there are 7 Maya tattvas. The Ichha Shakti gets limited by Kala and Raga. Kala means parts and Raga means attachment and desire. The Ichha has got desires and attachment. Jnana Shakti has got a Vidya, means knowledge, and the Kriya Shakti has got the limitations of time and space. Time and space is the limitation. So the mind's limitation is this much. Next is body, is tamas. There are 24 tattvas. So 5, 7 and 24 makes 36 tattvas. Here we have Shakti as a Prakriti. Even in Chandi Path, we have got 3 chapters. First is Sattva Guna, is called as Mahakali. Rajogun we call as Mahalakshmi. And Tamogun we call Mahasaraswati. So this is Trigunatmak Shakti. Now coming to the Ichha Shakti, our Ichha means Kala or Raga means attachment and the desires are of 3 types, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Because it is mind, Ichha, I have written Chandrakala by luck. I don't know how it is related, but because it is Ichha, so different phases comes in our mind. So next is Buddhi, that is Gnana Shakti. So here also we can use our intellect in a good way, sattvic way. Rajas means very leisurely we have got the glamour and everything. We can use that our mind for the tamas to harass anybody or hurt anyone. But this vidya is a type of the buddhi, what we call as Surya Kala. That's what I understand. Because and the tamas, then the next comes is ahamkara, that is sattvic ahamkara. I am very much gnani, I have got this so much sadhana and all that. This sattvic ahankara. Rajasic means glamour. And tamasic is also, all this creates all the karmas and it makes Agni Kala. So ahamkar is the Agni Kala in this way. This way I have roughly thought about it. We can always change. This is a chart. So in this way I am proceeding. Now the next is the slide. Now we are telling what is the first sutra. It says Atma Chittam. Atma is the individual self. Chittam is the mind. Chit during the universal consciousness, during the course of manifestation, is being reduced to Chitta. Chitta consists of Man, Buddhi and Ahamkara, and through 5 indriyas for senses is always engaged with the activity of sense objects, that is Padarth and Vastu, which I have already described last time. It is this Chitta, which is the individual Atma or Anu. The mind is contracted because of the Man, Buddhi, Ahankar and 5 indriyas, which I will explain later on in the different slides. So this is the God consciousness is reflected at our mind level, and we understand in a different way as a man, that is mind, buddhi, that is intellect, and the ahamkar, that is ego. Ahamkar means I-ness. We call it as our own consciousness. Here we are making a mistake. We call that we own the consciousness, but it is a supreme consciousness. We are giving a limitation of consciousness because of ahamkar or ego. How it reduces to ahamkar? Because of prakriti. The nature of our mind is of 3 gunas, attributes. First is sattva, pure guna. Second is rajas, pure and impure guna. And tamo is a pure guna. For a God realization, we need to be pure, and the other 2 will be the worldly pleasures. the consciousness never dies as it is full of energy and it is always active. Even when body is dead, the consciousness changes from one body as per the mindful nature and the karma to the other body. So this is the Chaitanyam Atma. So we say liberation is possible only if the sadhaka is having a mind, a pure or a sattva guni mind. One has to improve the nature of the rajasic guna and tamasic guna to the sattvic guna. Therefore, the Shambhav Upāya, Chaitanyam Atma, is a good consciousness, whereas in Āṇava Upāya, the Atma Chittam refers to the dualistic individual being connected to the worldly pleasures. The mind is internally saturated with the impressions of the sensual pleasures, and the Āṇava Upāya is required to be done. Mana has a rajasic chanchalya, engaged in the thought construct and emotions like a pleasure. Buddhi is a generally sattvic for creation unless it is misused and becomes a destructive. Ahankar is a tamasic, having the covering of avarana or concealing the reality, and makes the individual self as anu, where the universal consciousness is reduced to an anu. So it is shrunken. So I think, have I covered this last time?
No,
It is a...
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, Dada.
Okay. It is a chitta. It is the chitta which is the individual atma or anu. The mind is contracted is due to its prakriti having three gunas at a various proportions. We will see each individual as a different person because the proportion of the gunas differs from each other. One is sattvic nature, that is sattva guna. The purity of mind is required for the sadhana, which is a truthfulness, moral behavior, etc. If the purity of mind is lost, then you will never get the realization of getting the envisaged Shivatva. Then, to Rajasic nature, Rajoguna, a person is engaged with the worldly pleasures, Moha and Maya. Number 3, Tamasic nature or Tamoguna, ego, anger, enmity, proudness, strength, grabbing and stealing, harming and manipulations to other persons, etc. This makes using the mind and body to function on worldly objectives. This limits the faculty of mind, hence the rebirth is certain. What happens to the individual being who has become one with the limited mind, which is soaked in the impressions of worldly pleasures? So the next sutra says, Jnanam Bandha. At the first chapter of Shambhava Upāya, we had seen Jnanam Bandha. The meaning was, number 1, worldly external knowledge is a bondage, or not knowing the internal knowledge, Advaita, is the bondage. So this is a two-way of writing. One is positive, one is negative. Here, external knowledge is a bondage. And here, that is a dualistic knowledge is a bondage. And here, not knowing the non-dual knowledge is a bondage. The present sutra of Āṇava Upāya says that whatever the individual possesses, the limited knowledge creates the dualism. In the state of individuality, is the differential knowledge. So Shambhava Upāya said, Gnanam Bandha, I think this has come again. So we will take it next. Our consciousness flows to our brain, which includes mind, intellect, and ego. Man, buddhi, ahankar. The bondage is created for using this brain for the following. Ahamkar, ego, is attachment, moha, pride, memory, etc. Number 2, buddhi, intellect, knowledge for planning and analyzing present or future, language, etc. It can be constructive as well as destructive. Mana is the mind for feeling or emotions, sukh or dukh. The feelings are there in the mind. So I would say the music and the dance are connected to the feeling and the mind and the emotions. This emerges from sattva, rajas and tamas guna, that is our prakriti. Why this happens? The root cause is the 5 tanmatra. Buddhi, mana and ahamkara 3 and 5 tanmatras are shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa and gandha. It is called as Puryashtaka. This Puryashtaka is very important in Āṇava. It will be repeated in the next also. There are 5 senses organs. There are 5 senses organs of cognition of the object, whatever we see outside. Ears to listen is Shabda, skin to touch is Sparsha, eyes to see is Rupa, tongue to taste is the Rasa, nose to smell is the Gandha. They are processed by mind, Mana, intellect, Buddhi, and ego, Ahamkara. So these are called Puryashtaka. 8 things are very important. Here, why the Lalita Sahasranam, what we say, mind is Manorupekshako Danda. We say, Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, Shrimat Singhasane, Siddhagni Kunda Sambhuta, Deva Karya Sambuddhata, Udyad Panu Sahasrama, Chaturbahu Samanvita, Raga Swarupa Pashadhya. क्रोधा कारांकुशज्वला मनोरूपेक्षुको दंडा पंच तन्मात्र सहायका. These are पंच तन्मात्रा is शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध. मनोरूपेक्षुको दंडा. So these are all are given in the Devi's hand. So all these things are there. So mind, intellect and ego, which is mana, buddhi and ahamkar, is affected by our nature, prakriti. Our prakriti contains the sattva guna, pure consciousness, raja guna, the consciousness affected by the desires. I'll give the slide. The mind, intellect and ego is a mana, buddhi and ahamkara is affected by our nature, prakriti. Our prakriti contains the sattva guna, pure consciousness, raja guna, the consciousness affected by desires and attachment, and the tamo guna is the impure consciousness. All the 3 gunas or attributes are mixed together in a different proportions in a behavior of each individual. This also creates a dualism. Otherwise, all persons will behave in the same way. So everybody behaves in a different way due to all the mixture of all the 3 gunas in a different proportion. So this is very important to know. A person is residing at a sattva guna, raja guna and tamo guna at a different times and not beyond them. They are always during this, all the 3 are governed by a person. Therefore, he is disconnected to the previous state of life and united with the next state of life. He moves various births and deaths, that is Tantra Sadbhava says this. They make various karmas, and due to bad or good karmas, they have to repay at the next birth. The modes of mana, buddhi, and ahamkara has a pleasure, pain, stupefaction, and the differences of perceptions make that jnana of the individual self makes him as anu. The limited knowledge is a source of bondage. This leads to a transmigratory experience. This is due to flickering state of three gunas, and perceptions of the knowledge differs because he has not experienced the pure sattvic state. Padartha or a vastu or objects are perceived by the five tanmatras. They are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Give rise to Mana, Buddhi, Ahamkar called as Puryashtaka. This prevents you forgetting the reality of yourself because they are habituated to look outside the world. This prevention is due to Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Pap, etc. This causes the cycle of birth and death. So, the next is, many a times, the sadhaka do not understand the Puryashtaka, and his or her unworthy behavior results in blocking the result of mantra sadhana. So, this is the catch. This is the biggest bondage. The vitiated knowledge is also a bondage. I have given one example. The example is very easy. Now we were talking only in the beginning. I would give a. So there are various paths of sadhana using the different vrittis and indriyas. Pravritti marg and nivritti marg, which we have discussed in the beginning. There are Vedas, Upanishad, Purana, Yoga, and Tantra. As per 4 yogas, they were respectively popular. People try to study all and do the mixed sadhana. All software don't run the work together. So one should at least adopt a latest version. This I have already written here. So the crux of the problem we have understood. Ignorance is the main cause of anuta, Āṇava. Next is Sutra number 3. Kaladinam Tattvanam Aviveko Maya. Now, what is Kala? The word of enlightened, we have 5 pure Shuddha Tattva. They are as under Shiva Shakti, Sadashiv means Ichha Shakti, Ishwar means Gnan Shakti, and Shuddha Vidya is Kriya Shakti. These are the pure Shuddha Tattvas. And remaining 31 Tattvas are filled with ignorance, are impure, Ashuddha. So in Tantra says Shuddhadva and Ashuddhadva. Being from the Maya to Prithvi, they are samsara. They are in the samsara, the existing world of illusion. So this is the main cause. When you do not, next slide is, when you do not know these 31 elements, then these elements are impure and you are covered by the Maya and your Swatantra Shakti is diminished. Due to Kala Tattva, you possess the energy of a limited action, limited creativity, limited knowledge, and the disconnected from all knowing. This way, you descend to the world of limitations and finally enter in the Prithvi Tattva, the grossest state of samsara. Therefore, you are disconnected to your own nature of Shiva state. You think that you are one with your own body and God is not. Swami Lakshman Ji says, always we think we are not God and we want to reach to God. So that is misconception. We are God, but we are covered with so many limitations. So we have to uncover it. When you are not aware that everything is filled with the divinity, with knower and the knowledge, and then you live in 31 tattvas are under the kingdom of Maya. Maya is the energy of illusion, where you caught in dualism. You feel your entity is separate from others. Just like different flowers having different names, such as rose, chewy, jasud, kevda. Different flower names are there. Each has different smell, but they grow with the same chetana, means consciousness, same soil, same sun rays, same water is given. The separation is only due to color, smell, size, and appearance, etc. The human beings are having the same Chetana consciousness, but having a different composition of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, name, color, size, appearance, but we feel we are separate from all. Actually, the Chetana, the pure consciousness, is the same, but our avivek to recognize the same, this is a Maya. So here it is called aviveko Maya. Because of the kala, this difference is we are falling into the Maya. As per the Tantra Sadbhav, due to Chaitanya being covered by the Avarana, Chaitanya means pure consciousness, means God consciousness, or we call the supreme consciousness covered by the Avarana of Maya. People are acting and behaving in a limited way. You understand in a limited way, you love in a limited way, you live in a limited way, that is selfishness, possesses in a limited way. Being attached to this path in a limited way by your organs of knowledge, Jnanendriyas, and organs of actions, Karmendriyas, you are guided for a spiritual path in a limited way. So everything gets limited. So next say, your attachment to this path is such that you meet an elevated soul who desires to show you the correct path. You will not accept his guidance. Consequently, in your world of illusion, where you are filled with the insecurity and fear, these limitations are bondage. If somebody is guiding, but you fear whether it is good or bad, whether he is right or wrong, all these doubts are there. And these fears are there. So many things are there. Therefore, a person becomes a limited individual. It is also called as Pashu, the animal. This is from Tantra Sadbhav. For those who are fully aware of their own Chetana, all organs of cognition, Jnanendriya, organs of actions, Karmendriya, And the organs of intellect, man, buddhi, and ahankar lead them to the supreme state of consciousness. For those who are not aware, these same organs deprive them completely from their inner chetana. So these organs are helpful as well as restricts you to go there. So we have to only understand these organs and use it in a proper way, and proper use of these organs, then the sadhana will be very much successful. So what is kala? Kaladinam tattvanam aviveko maya. This is third sutra, we continue. Here, the Shiva Shakti, Sada Shiva, Ishwar and Shuddha Vidya, these are the five main pure tattvas, that is the soul level. These are the characteristics. What is that very characteristic? Anuttar, Anand Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti. It has the power. Swatantra power is the Sarva Kartrutva Shakti, that is Swatantra power, means he can do everything. Sarva Kartrutva Shakti. This another is Sarvagnata. Sarvagnata means knowing, all knowing.
Dada, are we on a slide?
Bolo.
Slide? Are we on a different slide, or are you reading off something?
Sorry.
That's better.
Good you have told me.
I'm awake.
Yeah. Faces. Because I am coming from my memory, so I forgot.
No problem.
There are this faces of Shiva, Shakti, Sada Shiva, Ishwar, and Shuddha Vidya. That is, as a Shakti, we call as Anuttar for Shiva. Shakti is Ananda Shakti. Sada Shiva is Ichha Shakti. Ishwar is the Gnana Shakti. And Shuddha Vidya is the Kriya Shakti. Now Shiva's power are Sarva Kartrutva Shakti. Means he can omniscient. He can do all the things. Sarvagnata. So he knows everything. Then Purnatva, that we full satisfaction, or we call there is no desire or attachment. Then Nityatva, that is called eternity. And then Sarva Vyapakatva, pervading everywhere, all pervading. So these powers are there. Sarva Kartrutva Shakti means all the freedom. In the Āṇava, in Kala section, the doership gets limited. Here, Shiva can do everything, but when we come as a human being, the doership of ours gets limited. And because of that, the last thing, Purush is also limited. Purush is also limited. The last, if you see vertical line. The next is the Shakti, the vertical line, that is Sarvagnata, means all knowing things, omniscient. The Mahik Mal comes and the Vidya gets limited. All the knowledge gets limited. That is knowledge of Sansar only. And because of that, we become individual. Purush. And the Sadashiv, that is Purnatva, full satisfaction. Whereas this is Āṇava, we get limited by the Raga, means desires, multiplicity of desires and attachment, and then we become a human, Purush. Here the Nitya is the eternity. Because of Karma Mala, and we have to take the repetition of birth. So Kala is a time limit, past, present, future. And because of this Kala, we become Purusha or limited individual. Then the next is Sarva Vyapakatva. So all pervasiveness, because of karma mala, that is our niyati, we get limitedness. And the space and time, space and place limitations comes to a Purusha, that is limited individual. So how we are reduced from full power to a lesser power because of the Maya Tattva. The next slide is Shiva has got 5 tattvas we have already discussed. Mind has got the kingdom of Maya, Kala, Avidya, Rag, Kal, Niyati, Tatpurush we have already discussed. Body has 24 tattvas, Prakriti, Ahamkar, Buddhi, Man, Svak, Chakshu, Shrotra, Jibha, Grana, Vak, Pani, Pat, Payu, Upastha, Shabda, Sparsha, Roop, Ras, Gandha, Akash, Vayu, Bandhi, Salila, Bhumi, Jala and Prithvi. So these are the different colors. This our consciousness gets divided into all 36 tattvas. And therefore the dualism takes place. And because of this dualism, we are limited individuals. So I think one slide was there. No. Here it's not there. The next is we have seen from the previous sutra as to how to have the reduced from Shiva to Purusha. Now this sutra states, well, this is a big thing to understand now. 10:30 is there. So has anybody questions and or anything?
Dadaji, in the previous slide, the slide, Dadaji, for the Bhagwan, for somebody to be called Bhagwan or Bhagavati, there are 6 gunas, and the 5 gunas you have put here: Sarvakatitva, Sarvagnitva, Sarvanandamayam, Sarvanityatvam, Sarvavyapakatvam. Anadi Bodhatvam is the 6th one. So I'm just trying to see how will that set here.
Anadi Bodha, Sarvagnata.
Acha, so there's only 5 then.
Sarvagnata.
Okay.
So these are the things.
Okay.
But what are the 6 ones? What are the 6?
Sarvagyatva, Sarvakatitva, Sarvanandamayatva, Sarvavyapakatva, Anadi Bodhatva, Sarvanityatva.
Acha, you have added Gnana Ananda in this.
Then I have not, Dadaji, I have not added.
No, I have added. I have added.
Okay. Some of the nyasas, for the Karanyasa and Anganyasa, these 6 are told.
This Ananda Shakti is added here.
Okay.
You follow the arrow?
Yes, Acha, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, so this becomes a 6.
Right. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Because I'm going as per the text, so things are there.
Okay, Dadaji.
So any more questions?
Just one question. You were going back on the Purya stuck previously, Purya stuck. Okay, there was one word there, mother. What is the meaning of mother?
Mother.
Okay.
Is ego.
It's ego. Okay. Okay, here it is. I think you just went past it, Dada. What? One more. No, okay. I think you had it a second ago.
Matsarya.
Stop. What was that before?
This one.
That's it.
Kama, Krodha, Lobham, Moham, Mada.
Mother.
Mad is a proudiness.
Right.
Proudiness. Mad.
Matsarya.
Matsarya means just what we say, behaving in a very unprofessional way.
Okay.
Matsarya means what we say. What we say, Irsha.
Okay, jealousy.
Jealousy is a matsarya.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I wasn't familiar with the terminology.
Yeah.
Great.
Sometimes it's difficult.
It is for me as well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Kama is a...
In the Upanishads, this is called as the Arishadvarga. Arishadvarga. Those that have to be cut.
Yes.
Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, the Arishadvarga.
Correct. Perfect. So everything correlates to Tantra and basics are them, but it is in a practical way is of Tantra. Tantra is designed for practicality, to understand, because so many dictums are there in Upanishad here and there, but it is not combined. The combination has been done by the Tantra. What we were discussing before. So how it is integrated? The logic is same, but the presentation and understanding is different.
Right. Okay, good. Any other questions, anybody? That's fine, Dada. Again, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Jim.
Thank you very much. Welcome.